Welcome to the agenda and Happy New Year from me, Lasha Kingsley in Douala, Cameroon. This is the very first edition of the agenda for the year 2023, and many people are strategizing on having the best of 2023. And today we shall be looking at what it takes to become a winner in 2023. And joining me on this edition of the program is leadership coach Roland Kweme, 2010 JCI president, and of course president and founder of Go Ahead Africa Limited, a leadership and training or a leadership management company that is specialized on giving leadership trainings to companies and individuals who are seeking solutions to their problems. Roland Kweme is my guest on tonight's edition of the program. Stay with me. I'll be right back after this. Coach Roland Kweme, Happy New Year, and thank you for joining me once again on this very first edition of the agenda for the year 2023. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Kingsley, for inviting me, and I would like to join you also to say Happy New Year to you, your family, the staff of this amazing television, but also to our televiewers. I've happened to be guest here many times, and I don't take it for granted. I want to thank God and thank all of you for the great appreciation.
Thank you, Coach Roland Kweme. This day we are focusing on what it takes to become a winner in 2023, and of course we are going to be looking at this on two perspectives. First of all, on an individual basis before we go corporate. As an individual with a lot of challenges, numerous challenges that we are facing, what does it take for you to emerge winner from these challenges that we are having in this 2023?
Thank you so much, Kingsley. I think it is important before we go to the detail of our topic to also tell the televiewers that before planning the year, it is very important also to make a balance sheet. And let me just say, maybe your year was not good, maybe it was positive, but it's important at the end of every year to do what we call in French the balance sheet. Now, the only way to have an honest balance sheet, it means that you have had goals. And that's why questions or topic on performance sometimes are very, they are not like very objective.
Yes.
It is a family where a child will have 12 over 20. People will celebrate. A different family, 14 over 20, the parents are not happy. So again, are you seeing the question of performance? Now, when we go to the topic on performance, because when we say winner, we might go to the religion. It's about a mindset. It's someone who is achieving his goal and who goes even beyond just the goals. And now, when we set goals, we have many dimensions. If we look at professional, they will talk about the professional goals.
Yes.
Kingsley, as a journalist, you have goals for this year. But Kingsley is not just a journalist. He's a family leader. As a family, what are the goals of your family for this 2023? Kingsley is not just a family person. He's a social person. Maybe your alma mater, maybe your community, there are goals. Then spiritually. So what I'm trying to say here is that winning or being a high performance individual we have many dimensions. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the process, we will know if we have won or if we have not won. Mm-hmm. Now, it takes essentially some key elements, and I'm happy you made a great separation between the individual and also the organization. So when we go at the first level of your question as individual, which is very crucial, the first element is that it is important for you to identify your comfort zone. Comfort zone here is where we are comfortable. And you cannot be a winner, you cannot be a high performer if you don't go out of your comfort zone. So that's number one. So it is important to identify and to quickly quit that comfort zone. The second element is to ask yourself what gives meaning and purpose to your life. I have been saying this in many of the programs that I've had with you, Kingsley. In leadership, yes, the question is more important than the answer. Because some people are just like robots. okay, New Year, okay, people are saying Happy New Year, new fashion. No, we should be very, very careful. We are not just a robot. We are human beings with thinking. So you need to ask yourself questions. What gives meaning and purpose to my life in 2023? What is it all about? What is the thing that I'm ready to die for? What are the things that will make me get up in the morning despite the fact that things are tough? The third element is to evaluate the price to pay. Now, because there's a cost. Now, when I say the price to pay, maybe it's in terms of competency. Then it means I need maybe new competency, maybe in digital, I don't know, but there must be new competencies that I need. What are those competency? Maybe I need also to work on my emotional well-being. Maybe emotionally I'm very weak. Maybe mentally I'm very weak. Maybe spiritually. So again, what is the price to pay so that you get ready to do the investment? The other element that is very powerful are the area of improvement, because as human beings, we are not perfect. Perfection is in the order of God. So we are all agreed. But excellence is at the reach of human being. Now, what are the room of improvement? What are the things that you think you should work hard to improve? It means that you know yourself. The other element is you need to associate yourself with the winners. Who are your role model? Show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. So it is important to look, because we don't choose our colleagues, we don't choose our brothers and sisters, but we choose our friends. And it is important for you to identify who is a winner or a high performer person that you know. It might be in your company or out of your company. Today with social media, you can reach, and those who are high performers are great and humble people. And it is also important here to avoid what I've called in my first book, the impact of one, the ABC syndrome. We should stop accusing others why we are not making it in life. We should stop blaming others why we are not performing. We should stop complaining. So if you kill the ABC syndrome, then now you have the last element that is something that we neglect, we have tendency not to take seriously. It's about celebrating small success. You know, I'm happy when we met in the studio. Happy New Year. How was the year? I was telling you that sometimes life is not fair. We have frustration. We have disappointment. But you know what? We should keep that smile and we should keep the show moving. And for that, we should also be grateful for even being alive. So by celebrating little successes, you will see that you can tomorrow, by the end of 2023, count yourself among the winners or the high performers.
Yes, Coach Roland Kweme, thank you so much for the clarification. Let's now take on the corporate basis now to talk about companies, those that are moving the economy. You just landed last night from Belgium, coming from Belgium, and you already receiving calls for people laying their problems to you, individuals as well as companies, for you to sort out their problems. And most often these companies come to you with problems which have to do with performance of their workers. What is it that is not, or the managers are missing out with their workers?
I think the number one is about the vision. Now, you will see a business owner or a business leader of a corporate organization or a department. He has a clear vision where he wants to take his department or his company. But it's not enough having a vision. It's important that your vision become a shared and common vision. And the question I ask them, excuse me, if I ask your direct report or I ask your collaborators to tell me what are the goals for 2023, would they be able to say it? The majority of the time is no. It means that the manager knows where he wants to go in 2023.
But it's not sharing.
It's not sharing
with the workers.
So how do you want it to work? So there's a whole technique to make sure that your vision become a common and shared vision. That's number one. Number two is about motivation. When we talk about motivation, it's not about material element only. Yeah, motivation is how do I speak to my staff? How do I relate with my staff? How do I consider my collaborators? And what we call today well-being, because we spend more time at the job site than at home. Now, Are they highly motivated? If it is yes, then there will be commitment and engagement.
The motivation you are talking about, is it financial motivation?
It's part. It's not only financial motivation. The first element, and we have done a barometer, social barometer of many companies, and you'll be surprised. I myself have always been surprised by the result. The salary is not number one. It comes 3, 4, 5. People will tell you that they want to be respected. They want to be considered. They want to be associated. It's just funny to hear that. It means that human being, by definition, if there's something that he will not want to lose, it's his dignity. If Kingsley, you come here every time and they insult you, they abuse you, even if they pay you all type of salary, I want to tell you, you are going to have health challenges, what we have called the mental health issues. That is very rampant. Because our environment becomes so toxic. Not toxic because it's dirty, it's very clean. But the way my boss is speaking to me, every morning when I'm going to work, I have stomach ache because I'm going to see that wicked man or that wicked lady. So just think about it. And you have asked me to speak to the managers.
Yes.
Because they are the people, I'm talking to them directly.
Moving the economy.
They are the people. So it is important to take in consideration the motivation of your collaborators. And that the financial element is not the number one, is the respect, is the collective and perspective approach in terms of goals. It's also in terms of making sure that they are part of the success. I'm saying this because when things are working well, the boss says, I'm the great guy. When things are not working well, he says he has poor and very bad collaborators. So something is wrong somewhere. Number 3 here is about the mental, the emotional resources. So now, when we talk about the mental, today we have to be very careful on the mental health of our collaboration. More and more we are having suicide, we are having burnout, we are having heart attack. All these illnesses, stress and all the rest, is because we should take care as managers, as corporate leaders, we should take care of the health and the emotional element of our collaborator. It means that if Kingsley come and tell the boss that, look, my daughter is sick, be careful. Listen to Kingsley. You might say, what is Kingsley's daughter illness has to do
with the
company? Error. Kingsley tells you, my father or my mother in the village is not feeling well. What we are trying to say here is about emotional intelligence. And I will invite you, Kingsley, we can do a program on a whole, dissertation, a whole concept to explain on emotional intelligence. The other element is that now we are talking about management. They must have a strong action plan for the year. It's not, we plan year. We know that first month, this is going to be the turnover, second month, third month, and it's not only having goals, but who is going to do what and when. So it's important to have responsibility, to have a time frame. This action plan is very powerful. That will help you to have what we call the tableau de bord, to make sure that you are on track. The other element is high discipline. Now, when we talk about high discipline in organization, it means that we should stick to what we have planned. We shouldn't have a lot of exceptions. There will be exceptions. But if we have a lot of exceptions, then there is a problem. And so the high discipline starts with the manager himself or herself. Then there should be zero tolerance on mediocrity. There's no way you can have a high performance organization where people are scoring 10 over 12. It must be 15, 17, 18. And that, don't accept. People should be highly competent. I want to talk about competency here. It's also about technical competency. It means if you're a driver, you must be good in driving, but also managerial, or what I've called behavior competency, politeness, please, I'm sorry, thank you. Those key words that are so simple in the education of a child that tomorrow will make him an amazing person or a very bad person. And last but not the least, it's about continuous learning. Leaders are learners. If they stop learning, they stop growing. And if you don't grow, it means there will never be performance. So it calls on exemplary leadership, it calls on humility, it calls on honesty, may also call on humanity, what I've called a 3H. It is important to be very humble as leader. When you are humble, it means you accept feedback and you grow with your team. It's very important to be very honest. When you have promised something to a collaborator, please make sure that you keep to your promise. And that's why there are two times that you shouldn't speak. When you are too happy, don't speak, because you might make a promise that you will not be able to keep. When you are also too angry, don't speak, because you might say things that tomorrow you are going to regret. And to close it all, it's about exemplary leadership. Leading by example. Don't ask your collaborators what you are not able to do yourself. So those are the keys that will help organization to be highly performant. And if your organization is performant, then the sustainability aspect is great. And one of the reasons I've been insisting on the corporate world, because this pillar is so powerful. They create job, they create wealth, they will pay taxes. And now when they pay taxes to the government can do. And that's why I think it is important for us in 2023 to support the entrepreneurs, to support the corporate world with a strong corporate world, with a corporate world that has strong confidence and that is sustainable. I'm very convinced that Africa will quickly go forge ahead, what we have called the Africa we want.
Yes, from what listening to you, you talk so much about valorizing human capital,
Yes.
and you did mention so many aspects. But many companies in Cameroon, or many business owners, they don't really care much about valorizing this human capital, but they want the best out of the human capital. You did mention also that salary is not the key issue here when it comes to performance.
We have statistics, we have done studies, so I know what I'm talking about. Now, thank you, Kingsley. We have many capitals. For a businessman, he will tell you, okay, I've put the financial capital, I brought money, which is great. I brought the machine, which is great. But the most crucial capital is the human capital. Most crucial. And it's the capital that is so difficult to manage. Human beings, they are almost gods. It's not like a machine. A machine, if I have a good mastery like now, we're in a studio, the guys, they have done it, they have planned it, they have gone, and we are doing our program. But there was a human being who came and did the planning. True or false?
True.
It came. So without a human being, the machine is nothing. And this is something that I keep preaching to the business leaders. I try to do it in my organizations. Now, the human capital is so crucial. If I ask you, the number one client of a company, is who? You see, most of the time they will think about the outside
the person
client.
that is bringing the money.
No, the number one client, the staff, the employees. They can send away all your clients. So it is important for you as a leader, a business leader, to invest in them. To invest in them. Investing in them is mean what? Empower them. Investing in them is that you increase their competency. So training, continuous, because you cannot come out from school 5 years after, is the same. Multinational, 99% of my clients are multinational. I'm sharing the secret. They invest a lot in building. Yes, don't you think about it? They are not trained money. They know very well. It's like a principle of, kids, as kids, we started brushing our teeth, right? The parents say, brush. Can you jump one day without brushing your teeth?
Not at all. It is
not
possible.
We do it. So it is same. Learning is a whole. Leaders are learners. If they stop learning, they stop growing. So it is important to invest on the human capital. As you invest on your machine, as you invest on they maintain the machine, they buy the oil, they change the part. How about the human capital? When is the last time you invested in your human capital? He's a finance guy. He came out from school 5 years ago. The finance law changed in Cameroon every year. So he must go to the seminar. Yes. The marketing strategy cannot be the same marketing strategy like 2-3 years. We had COVID. After COVID now, Ukraine this. You must reinvent. How do we empower your team? So it is something that I would strongly advise.
So how will you be able to convince managers in Cameroon, because I know you are the leading leadership and consultancy firm in Cameroon. How will you be able to convince managers to see with you that they really need to invest in this human capital? Because most of them only, when they come to you, they are only complaining about productivity. My workers are not doing this. How will I be able to, they forget about those important aspects of the things that they were supposed to do to put the workers.
Now, I will say something that is not very polite, but let me say it. Many times I've observed, as I've said, 99% of my clients are multinational, which is not something I'm very proud of. I would have loved, as Go Ahead Africa, to have African companies, own company as client. Now, some really lack humility, but I respect it. They build big companies with what they did. But in this current world, VUCA, that is very volatile, that the future is uncertain, the situation is so complex, and information is so ambiguous, what we call VUCA. If they don't reinvent themselves, I'm sorry, they're not going to have sustainable organization. When we take like Group Castel, 74 years in Cameroon, in more than 14 countries. He started in Cameroon with other Cameroonians. Where are they? Now, it is important to see that these organizations that are investing in human capital are sustainable. It is a pity to see that many African companies die with a founder.
When the founder dies, the company dies as well.
Are we proud? Are we happy? No. Now, it's just common sense to say you cannot do the same things the same way and expect a different result. If you have a different result, it's witchcraft. But in business, and that I know, in leadership, there's no witchcraft. It's very logic. So, except we change the way of thinking, the way of managing our organizations, the way of preparing successful, succession planning. How do we think our organization when we're not going to be there? Or we just think it will end with us? So sometimes we need to have critical conversation on this. But again, I strongly believe that the capital that can help a company to go beyond the lifespan of the founder is to invest on the human capital. But next is to invest on system, to make sure that things are not based on persons. If I like Kingsley, I give him a promotion. If he doesn't come and gossip, I punish him. Those are a lot of emotion than rational. We need to be more rational. Now, the emotional aspect is very important, but sometimes the tendency is to fall a lot on tribalism, favorite. We are from the same church or the same religion. I just recruit every of my church and bring. How do you expect, or I'm from this tribe, only my tribe people in my company. How do you expect to have high performance organizations? So I think it's a critical conversation that as Africans we need to sit and tell ourselves truth. If not, I'm sorry, we are going to have organizations that will die with the founder.
Thank you so much, Coach Roland Kweme, for being my very first guest on the agenda for the year 2023. And it was a great pleasure having you. You just came in from Belgium, but you could not resist the invitation I sent you. We had to do the program before Christmas, but notwithstanding, your schedule could not permit you to do the program. But thank God you're able to come today to share to Cameroonians what it takes, because we had to prepare for 2023, and this topic was very much important for us to talk about it.
Thank you so much, Kingsley. I will just say 3 P's for 2023. I really wish that our organizations are very, very positive, they are productive, and they are very performant. And this goes also for the individual. A very positive year to you, a productive year, and most importantly, a very performant 2023 to you all.
Thank you for coming, Coach.
You're welcome.